Well, good morning and welcome to Coach's Corner. As we work through some technical difficulties this morning, we're trying something new this morning, and well, let's just say, for lack of a better term, things didn't work out all right here. But it's welcome to Coach's Corner, back in my usual spot on a Saturday morning. So I'm glad to be back here, and let's talk about last night. A very short night locally, sports-wise. Nick Lucas had a pair of goals as the Fort Frances Lakers defeated the Minnesota Iron Rangers 5-2 on the road. Minnesota Iron Rangers would score first, but Lucas would score towards the later part of the first period to tie it at 1 going into the second period. The Lakers then went in front for good as Lucas scored at the 16:50 mark of the night, his 11th goal on the season. Then Cole Allen knocked in the eventual game winner with just seconds remaining in the second period to go up 3-1. Kirk Kopach and Isaac Barron would score for the Lakers in the third. Brett Hakala and Owen Lee each had a pair of assists for the Lakers. Matt Booth had 19 saves in net to pick up the win. The Lakers are now 8-8 on the season. They sit in third place in the SIJHL, 1 point in front of Thief River Falls, who they host tonight at 7:30 at Ice for Kids Arena. Of course, it's playoff time in high school sports around the area. 13 games played last night in football. Some of the big ones that might be of interest to everybody: Spring Grove 27-26 over RTR. You might say, well, why that game is that important? Well, Spring Grove is the defending 9-man champion, and they had to score late for a chance to win that football game, 27-26. Blaine 42-14 over Eastview. That game was continued from Thursday. They had a power outage at Osseo High School, and they had to complete that game yesterday. Waseca all over Winona 49-7. Wilmer 44, Hermantown 0 in 4A playoff football. Caledonia, the defending champions. It seems like they're always the defending champions. I think they've won like 4 out of the last 5 or 5 out of the last 6 years. They defeat New Richland 41-0. Painesville 52, Pillager 14. Moose Lake Willow River also gets shut out for Section 7 football as they lose to Barnesville 40-0. And Cromwell Wright, the team that they were playing, Norman County East, Ulan Hitterdal, scores on the first time that they had the ball. They never scored again, and Cromwell wins that game at Bemidji State 14-7. Lakeville South kind of came through with an upset. They beat Woodbury 28-14. Lakeville North 35-8 over St. Michael Albertville. So that means Lakeville North plays Lakeville South in the state semifinals. You might say, how can two teams in the same town be playing in the state semifinals? Well, that's how it works, folks. Today, going on from Section 7, we're going to have Deer Rivers taking on Mahnomen at noon. Perham plays 2 Harbors at 3 o'clock in Brainerd. The defending champions, Piers, plays Annandale. Stephen Argyle, they take on Mountain Iron Buell at 6 o'clock, and Bemidji takes on Cambridge Isanity at 8 o'clock. Volleyball state tournament is going on as well. Yesterday in 3A volleyball, number 1 Egan takes down number 4 Stillwater. Number 2 Champlain Park takes down Lakeville South 3 sets to 1. That sets up the state championship game match today at 5 o'clock between, make sure I got this all right, Champlain Park and Egan. In single A volleyball, number 1 Minneota 3-1 over Ada Borup, and Medford unseeded upsets number 3 Belgrade Bruton El Rosa. So that sets up the Class A championship of number 1 Minneota versus unseeded Medford. And then in 2A volleyball, North Branch had to come back from 2 sets to 1 down. The number 4 seed takes down number 1 Casson Manorville in 5 sets. They will take on Marshall, who took down Concordia Academy yesterday, as we get things going along there in high school. So the state volleyball tournament's going on, championship games today. Joe Maurer called it a career after 15 seasons with the Minnesota Twins yesterday. Did not have a press conference to announce that. Sent it out in a letter, kind of a different way. Maybe a kind of the new way of doing things, that you just send out a letter to everybody. Take out a big ad in the Star Tribune today thanking everybody as things go along there. So Joe Maurer calls it a career after 15 seasons with the Minnesota Twins. In college men's hockey last night, Minnesota 3-2 over Wisconsin. Michigan downs Notre Dame 2-1. Western Michigan 7, Omaha 2. St. Cloud State over Denver at home 4-3. And UMD shuts out CC 3-0. North Dakota 3, Miami 1. Arizona State over Michigan State 5-4. Ohio State 3-0 over Colgate, and Bemidji State 8, Merrimack 3. Women's college hockey last night, Ohio State loses at Bemidji State last night 2-1. St. Cloud State and Lindenwood tie at 2. Minnesota Timberwolves have been out on the West Coast, it seems like forever, just like the Minnesota Wild have. The Timberwolves got 39 points, 19 rebounds from Carl Anthony Towns, but it was not enough as the Wolves lost 121-110. Fifth straight loss for the Wolves. They now sit at 4-9 on the season. Derek Rose continues his hot shooting. He had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Jimmy Butler finished with 13 points, but shot just 3 for 12 in the game from the field and missed 2 free throws late in the game that could have tied it for the Timberwolves. The Minnesota Wild, they continued their hot winning ways as they got a Jordan Greenway goal, 148 into the game at Anaheim as they went on to a 5-1 win. Mikhail Granlund added a pair of goals, and Jonas Brodin and Jason Zucker also had goals for the Wild as Alex Stalock got the win in goal. The Wild are 4-2 on this current 7-game road trip, and they are in St. Louis tomorrow afternoon to finish it up. The number 3 University of Minnesota volleyball team topped Indiana in 3 straight sets last night in front of a sold-out crowd of nearly 5,600. The Gophers are now 15-0 in the Big Ten, 21-2 overall, and they host Purdue tonight. Right next door from this pavilion, right over to Williams Arena, the Gopher women's basketball team. Lots of excitement because Lindsey Whalen is the new head coach. They sold out the place last night. 14,625 people showed up to watch the Gophers beat New Hampshire 70-47, excuse me, as Annalise Lamke led the Gophers with 21 points. Minnesota women's soccer beats Auburn on the road in Auburn 2-0. Their first ever road NCAA tournament win. They will play next Friday as they advance to the second round for the second time in 3 years. UMD volleyball, they are going to be playing for the NSIC championship this evening as they beat Sioux Falls 3-0, and they will take on Southwest Minnesota State at 5 o'clock. If they win that, they should host the Central Region Tournament, which begins next week. What's going on locally today? Well, the girls swimming and diving teams are in Duluth. They will be starting the prelims in diving at 11 a.m., and then the finals in swimming and diving start at 3 o'clock down at Lincoln Park Middle School. The Bronco bowling team is in Hibbing for their conference tournament, looking to defend their title from last year. That meet gets started at 2:30, and the Lakers are at home against Thief River Falls tonight at 7:30. Gopher football looking to see if their defense can start playing some football. They take on Purdue at 2:30. That game's on ESPN2. North Dakota State is at Missouri State at 2 o'clock. UMD in their regular season finale looking to go 11-0 as they take on Northern State at 1 o'clock. BSU also in their regular season finale takes on Minot State. UND is at home against Portland State at 2 o'clock. St. Cloud State is at Moorhead at 1. In the big boys, the top 25 matchups, number 10 Ohio State at number 18 Michigan State at 11 o'clock. Number 16 Mississippi State at number 1 Alabama at 2:30. Number 24 Auburn at number 5 Georgia at 6 o'clock. And number 2 Clemson at number 17. Surprisingly, Boston College sitting 17 in the nation. That game is at 7 o'clock. The Vikes are off this weekend, so no football on K104 tomorrow, but we will have Wild hockey with the pregame starting at 1:45. Face-off right around 2:10 on KGHS 12:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM. How about our former Broncos? Well, Sydney Raboyne wrapped up her season with UND as they were at the regional yesterday in Illinois. She finished 186th out of 232 runners. Lexi Erickson with the St. Scholastica cross-country team. They are in Iowa today for the Central Regional. Maddie Filipiak, she finished up her BSU volleyball career last weekend with a loss at home to number 5 Northern State. Lexi Edwards with Sacred Heart Women's Hockey. She scored a pair of goals last Saturday in their 3-0 win. They are off this weekend. Lucas DeBenedict scored his first goal of the season in a 5-3 loss to Aurora University last week. Last night he scored again in a 5-2 loss to the Milwaukee School of Engineering. And Northland College out of Ashland, Wisconsin, they play Concordia University of Wisconsin tonight. Abby Koshik with the Moorhead State women's swimming team. They lost to Sioux Falls last week in a dual meet. They're at St. Thomas for an invite that started last night and finishes up today. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back and we are going to talk Bronco girls hockey with new head coach Michelle McDonald and a couple of players. We'll be back here in 3 minutes. You're listening to Coach's Corner live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Well, welcome back to Coach's Corner. This moment of silence, I guess, brought to you, I don't know exactly what. We're still having issues back at the station, so we're just going to keep talking and we'll go from there and see what happens. Joined by the girls hockey team here and new head coach Michelle McDonald, Maggie Roeder, and our good friend from the LPGA, Morgan Rasmussen, as we're working through some things. Anyway, I'm getting text messages from people who are listening. I appreciate you out there. Yes, we're still trying to work through things, and well, we've got 2 weeks in the books. Morgan, has it been everything you dreamed it would be? Getting started with getting started with hockey again.
Yeah, not being in Bronco though is different.
That begs the question. So we probably should let everybody know there's still no ice in Bronco Arena as they work through the refrigeration unit change thing. I don't even know how to explain it to you people. There isn't any ice in Bronco. So you guys have been over at Carey Park, and but the ice is better over there, isn't it? It's colder, it's harder, it's faster. That should make it easier, shouldn't it, Morgan?
Yeah, but it's quite cold in there.
You'd prefer to see it a little warmer, is what you're saying to me.
Yeah, just a tad.
Maggie, you agree with what Morgan says? It's been tough trying to get things going.
Yeah, it is, and yeah.
Yes, it is. Fair enough. Coach, you know, as a first year head coach, you would want things to be as simple and as easy as possible. You don't need all this other drama going on. Has it been tough to try to get everything coordinated going through this first 2 weeks of practice?
I'm just happy to be on the ice. Carey Park or Bronco, either way, it's nice to be out there and skating with the girls. I know we'd like to be in Bronco, but we're happy to be having ice in practice.
And I suppose I could tell Morgan it's better. You could be outside practicing, right? You could be in the wind and have to shovel first and skate uphill both ways and all this other stuff about the way they used to have to do it in the old days. Coach, as long as you still have the microphone in your hand, talk about what it's like moving from an assistant coach last year now to being the head coach. Have things stayed the same? Have you completely got rid of the plan and started your whole new thing? What's going on?
I'm just excited to have the opportunity to be here. There's some big shoes to fill from Bolstead. He's a great coach. He coached me through high school, and along with Coach Erickson, who's still assistant coaching, and it's definitely a change. There's different roles and responsibilities, but I'm lucky to have Bolstead whenever I need me if I have any questions. Coach Erickson as well has been here a while, and he knows the way things work, so he's also had a lot to teach me through the years. And also I'm lucky enough to have my dad, George McDonald, who's the boys coach, who's had a lot of experience, and if I have any questions, he's right there for me too.
Has he been there coming to practice to help you out and run drills?
No.
It's deer season. How dare I even suggest that? This is a team that during the off season, since we last talked in February last year, went through this whole idea of maybe pairing up with Lake of the Woods and Rainy River from Lake of the Woods area, and that fell through, I believe. I don't think, unless there's some. Tell me if I'm wrong on that.
I don't have any updates for you.
Okay. There's no girls coming over from Lake of the Woods to come skate with us.
Not at this moment.
Not at this moment. And so, of course, the idea behind putting that was the low numbers that our program is going to be going through. Maybe not this year, but maybe in subsequent years. So, how many girls have we got out right now? And does it look like we're going to be able to field a varsity and a JV team for the year?
We have about 21 skaters right now.
Okay.
So we're looking at having a JV and a varsity this year, which is a little different from last year. We started this season with a JV, but decided it'd be in our best interest to just have the varsity. And we got a lot of kids. I mean, they work hard, and we might have a skater skate, a period of JV or a period of varsity, but it'll be good for them, and it's just more ice time for them too.
Is it something that you guys are kind of looking forward to? I guess from the standpoint of with having two teams again, everybody is going to get a chance to play and work on their skills during the week, Morgan, because it seemed to me last year with no JV schedule, there were times when some girls weren't really getting to skate a whole bunch, and it got frustrating.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different, and everyone's going to get lots of ice time, so that's good that we're going to have a JV team.
I was going to say Maggie, sorry. I had the ending in the beginning all right, but I didn't have. Talk about what this team has done through the first 2 weeks that you really like to see what they've done in practice.
Like a lot of the new girls, they're really dedicated. You can all tell that already, so that'll be good. And people are doing what they can, and I think it'll be good.
Well, what's going to be the strength of this team, Maggie? What do you see as being? Is it defense, goaltending, offense? What maybe there's a particular part of that. What do you think the strength of this team is going to be? I caught her with that one, folks. I apologize. I mean, is it something where? I mean, is this to me, here's the first thing that comes into my mind. This team's going to be able to get out there and skate pretty quickly, get things going pretty quickly. Would you agree that that's one of the assets of this team?
Yeah, I think so. And our goaltending will be good too. We have 2 strong goalies, so.
It's always good to have a two in the fold. Is there a younger goaltender, somebody down in the 7th, 8th grade levels, or are these two the two we're talking about, of course, are Wagner and Marcotte, and so are these the two that are going to be working to play the 6 periods every night?
Yeah, right now we have Marcotte and Wagner, and like Roeder said, they're strong goalies, and it's really nice. We're fortunate to have 2 strong goalies. As of right now, they're the 2 goalies we have. We don't have any younger, but we have a really hard-working, dedicated crew, and I know there's some kids coming up through that 12U program too. I'm not sure goalies, but we'll make it work as we do.
That's the attitude. So we've got our first game coming up on Thursday, Morgan, when we get to go to Silver Bay. Just a little jaunt on a Thursday night, no big deal. So what do you remember about North Shore, because they are combined with Two Harbors and with Cook County? What do you remember about North Shore from last year? And is it more? It's obviously a section game, but is it more just kind of getting your feet underneath you, your skates underneath you, and getting out and playing some hockey?
Yeah, I remember last year it was pretty close at first, but I think it's going to be a good first game and it's going to be competitive.
Is it something that this team is? Coach been talking to you about what she really wants to see in this first game? Is it up tempo? What has she been preaching in practice for the first 2 weeks about what she's hoping to get this team to do during the season?
I think just get everyone to communicate and work together and just try our best our first game.
Okay, so Maggie, here comes. I gave you a tough question before, so here's an even tougher question. Are you ready? When they announced the starting 6 on Thursday night at Rukavina Arena in Silver Bay, Minnesota, which 6 people are going to get their names announced?
Yeah, good question.
That's a good question. I'll take it right over to Coach. Coach, have you made up your mind on who that is, or is there still, with 3 days of practice left, is there still time to make up your mind about who's that first line, who's that second line? Because if there's one thing I learned over the last 9 years of girls hockey, never walk into the arena thinking you knew what the lines were going to be, because Coach Bolstead always kept me on my toes. I never knew who was going to be on which line and who was going to be which defensive pairing. He always kept me honest. Is that something that in your mind you have something, but you're not going to reveal it to the 2 sitting to your right?
We have a good group of older girls who are really strong. So, like Bull said, there's going to be a lineup, and we'll figure it out. But really, any of those top 2 lines that we have coming out in our varsity would be able to play the first shift. I mean, they're all really hardworking and dedicated kids, and I know they'll keep their feet moving and work hard either way.
So you're looking to run maybe just 2 lines and sprinkle a 3rd line in there right now? I mean, is that kind of how you're thinking with the experience that this team has and the numbers that you have? Is that the way you're thinking it, or is it something where, because to be honest, I've watched teams from Moose Lake and all these other teams, and they pretty much have just run 2 forward lines, 2 D pairs, sometimes only 3 D, because that's what they feel like they need to do. Is that something that you have in your mind decided, or is it something that still could work out, and maybe there's going to be 7 forwards or 8 forwards, and maybe that 7 and 8 will get put in when somebody needs a break?
Yeah, I mean, it's always something, you always have to keep your mind open for things. I mean, I could say right now we're going to start and just roll 2 lines, but we might play the first game and say, hey, there's this other player who needs and has been working hard and has the opportunity to be that 7th forward or that 8th forward. We take it game by game, and like you said, we don't have the crazy amount of numbers that some of these other schools do, but we do have these kids that work really hard, and they show up at practice, and they're working hard every single day. And if we see that, then of course there's going to be maybe some JV players who might move up through.
Sure. Talk about a game at the start of the schedule here, maybe through the first month or so, Maggie, that you're looking forward to playing. Have you even looked at that schedule? Do you even know who you play when, or are you just worried about November 15th and that we play North Shore?
Yeah, I'm just worried about the first game.
So you don't even know who plays the second game?
Yeah, Park Rapids.
Park Rapids at home, provided there is ice in Bronco Arena. Have we talked about possibly switching with Park Rapids if the ice, is that a possibility, or would you just go play it at Cary Park?
I've talked a little bit with Bill Mason about that, our athletic director, and it's something in the back of my head, but I'm going to keep shooting for that. I really hope we have ice for our first game, and if it doesn't get there, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
The days go.
Morgan, how about for you? Game on the schedule? Because I know you've looked ahead. I got a feeling you've looked ahead. There's a game out there that you've been looking at.
Well, we play like Ford our third game, and that's always an interesting game.
Always an interesting game, yes, and I figured that was going to be the answer. Have you looked any further than that? You guys get to go to Superior this year. How did that? Were you a part of that, scheduling that game, Coach, at all, or that was a Bolstead thing, right?
That's a Bolstead thing.
That's a Bolstead
That's
thing.
a Bolstead
You don't
thing.
sound happy that you got to go to Superior, Wisconsin on a Saturday to play a hockey game.
You know what? Any day is a good day to play hockey.
Any day is a good day. I'll even be there to make sure that it gets on the air so the people don't have to drive all the way to Souptown. I will make sure that I get down there.
Even better.
Even better. Ladies, thanks for being here this morning. Best of luck on Thursday, and I'll look forward to seeing you on home ice on Tuesday the 20th in Bronco Arena. Let's get our prayers all going in the right direction. Morgan Rasmussen, Maggie Roeder, and head coach Michelle McDonald joining me here. We're going to take about a 45-second break while we get one team out and one team in, and we'll come back with Fort Francis boys hockey. You're listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Well, all right, I think they've all found a seat. It was a little bit of a musical chair thing, but I think they're all in line here. Let me see. Let me try to do this without my notes. So I shouldn't look at your jacket. Nick Gursky, I wasn't going to look at your jacket. Michael Ward, Darian Clem, head coach Jordan Sinclair, and don't say it because I'm thinking, Jace Dettori. I got it wrong, didn't I? Detaro. See, I close. Joining me here from the Fort Francis boys hockey team, and I'll start with you, Coach. Welcome back. Good to see you. I think it's been since since the Smoky Bear. I think was the last time that we kind of crossed paths. You guys have been practicing here. I think I looked on your guys' Twitter feed. Things got decided on September 30th who's going to be on this team. So what have you been doing for the last 5 weeks getting prepared for the season?
Yeah, well, actually, we the school board admin had made a change to our schedule, I guess, basically. So we still had our tryouts early in the year, middle of September, but we actually were off the ice for a month after that.
Okay.
So we didn't actually start practicing till October 21st or 22nd, and we've just got our full squad back. I guess last week was the first week of practice with volleyball and football guys coming over.
Sure.
And we still haven't hit the ice with a full group because we've already got injuries and all that kind of good stuff. So
isn't that fun? So last year you guys went up to Winnipeg middle of October. Is that part of the scheduling change that you're discussing?
Yeah. So see, what we've done in the past is actually we've just started practicing right after tryouts. So basically middle of September. So with that, we've obviously missed those 3-4 weeks of practices. We've missed the tournament in Winnipeg, and we've missed the opening series, I guess, if you will, with Thunder Bay Kings, which we did last year, which was kind of part of our final roster cuts.
Okay.
So it's changed for sure.
Sure. So you take all those games out that you played prior to this day, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Have you tried to add those games back in, or is it something that those games are basically eliminated?
They're pretty much kiboshed because we're still working to see if we can get some with Thunder Bay. The difficulty there is once they get into their league and they get playing, which they obviously have, their weekends are very limited. Ours are limited, and it's just tough to make it work. Really, the only opening is near the end of the season between the final games and playoffs, and that's always touchy because do you want to risk injury or not?
Absolutely. Michael Ward, you've got the other microphone in your hand, so you're a veteran on this team. You're one of the leaders, right? So how have things been going through the first couple weeks of practice here?
Oh, we've been practicing pretty good, and we've got a pretty good group of guys this year and a lot of hard workers.
Talk about, just mainly for me, but I think for our listening audience, talk about some of the kids that are gone from the team from last year that are now playing maybe elsewhere or have done with their high school careers. Talk a little bit about, well, I know Cole Allen because I said his name this morning. He's playing for the Lakers, but who else is gone from last year's team?
We got a couple big guys. One are Byron Stewart, big leader last year, and Scooter picking in.
Okay, yeah, Eric.
Yeah.
Scooter. I never knew that it was his nickname. Well,
Yeah.
see, that you always learn something new in the morning.
Yeah. Gonna miss his goal scoring this year.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think.
But you got the guy to your left back.
Yeah.
You got Darian Clem. Go ahead and grab the microphone, Darian. Just a sophomore, right? Just a grade 10er, and you're back in your second season for goal. I would assume. I'm assuming you're the number one guy. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. Maybe. Are you the number one guy?
I think you're gonna have to ask him on that one. I don't know.
Got to talk to the coach maybe
Yeah.
on that one. He's going to at least give you a chance to show what you can do, right?
Yeah, I sure hope so. Feel like I can do something.
Feel like you guys can do something. Nick, you're new to the group, at least as far as I'm concerned, because I don't remember saying your name on the air last year. So
New to the team, yeah.
new to the team. So what have you seen coming onto the team as being a plus through the first couple weeks of practice here?
We have a pretty good group of guys. Practices are going well. I enjoy the team. Everybody on it's super nice. I think we're gonna do good this year.
It is something, Jace, that as much as you got to be able to play the game, you got to be able to you got to like your line mates. You got to trust the guy next to you. Is it something that this group of guys has, this team has, that trust in your teammate that they're going to be where they need to be?
Oh yeah, I think the group guys we got this year, like, we all know each other pretty good, and we can all trust each other pretty well. I think we got a good group this year.
Okay, I'm going to bring up the bad stuff. We've talked. We've all said something nice. Now I have to bring up the bad part. We have to talk about not winning last year to get out of the district, to get out of the Norwassa, and I can see in the faces there's some hard feelings about that. Did that drive this team, Michael, in the off season? Did that say this isn't going to happen again, type of thing?
Yeah, we definitely want to get that back this year and beat them and make sure that we make it to Ofsa this year.
It's something that I know. I was listening to the game on the internet. I wasn't there. I'm driving home, and this is the triple overtime game. I'm playing this in my brain, right? Okay, I'm going back to March. I'm driving home from doing a basketball game or something, and I left Duluth like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, well, all right, I'll just listen to it on my phone, and I'll hear what's going on. And as I got closer and closer to International Falls, I'm like, I can make the end of this game. I'm going to make the end of this game. And I'm just getting to the railroad tracks to cross the border to put my card through the thing, and they scored the goal. And I was just like, no! It was one of those things. And for me, it was kind of like, well, you couldn't ask for much more if you're a fan of a hockey game. Wow, what a game! But it was really, you guys remember his name? Who's the kid for? Well, it's Sioux North now this year, right? Can't think of his name. Help me out. Queen Elizabeth. Favell. See, you guys remember? He was kind of a one-man wrecking crew. He graduated, or is he back?
No, there's Schultz and Favell. They're back this year for victory lap, and we want to shut them down this year.
Is Nick's over here smiling? He's just like, you can't wait for your chance, Nick.
Yeah.
It's something you're looking forward to.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it for sure.
Okay, I haven't got the schedule memorized. When's the first time we play? First time do we play Queen Elizabeth? Sioux North this year, right? That's what they. Is that a change, or has it always been that way?
No, that's new.
That's new. So when do you guys play them? Do you know?
I think November 23rd.
November 23rd. That's a Friday, right after our holiday. Up there or here? Right here. That seems like a game that I should be at, but I've already made plans for that night. Doggone it. And the Broncos have their home game that night, their first home game that night. What are the expectations for this team? I'll start with you, Jace. You got the microphone in your hand. What were the expectations for this team?
Probably first goal, make playoffs. Second goal is just pick at each round, get by, and then break the ice of getting to OFSA.
Okay. Nick, how about for you? Same things, or do you see something different? Yeah. About what the goals are for this team, what you guys want to see this team do at the end of the season.
Hopefully our team chemistry is pretty good because we're a group of boys that's played with each other most of our lives.
Sure.
But hopefully we can go the extra mile, make it to OFSA, just have a good season.
Michael, how about for you?
I'd say our first goal is to win it Norwassa and make it to OFSA and do our best down there. But I think it's we a group of guys that click together, and it's going to be good. Not a whole lot of skill, but it's good people.
Good people, hard-nosed. Talk about, Darian, if you can. What's the strength of this team? Because you're sitting in goal, you see in front of you everything. What do you feel like maybe the strength of this team is going forward? And it's okay if you say yourself, because I'd be okay with that, because a good goalie's got to have confidence.
I don't know. I feel like we definitely have a strong offensive core, and our breakout's really good. So if we can keep it out of our end, score the goals, that'll really help, obviously. Yeah.
Coach, what do you see? Tell me what the coach's eyes see as being the strength of this team.
Well, to me, I think from what I've seen over the first couple weeks of practices is our skating to me has stood out, probably a little better in years past. I like the way that we got a lot of energy. We're moving our feet. We seem to have some pretty good speed. But to be honest with you, and this might sound goofy to some people, but the thing that excites me most, and it's been mentioned here already, is the team chemistry. And the group that we have and the way that the guys seem to get together and get along, to me that's huge. I think back of teams that I've been a part of and that have had success. To me, that's as important as any. As you mentioned, you've got to more than just be able to play with these guys. You've got to like them. You've got to enjoy spending time with them, and you've got to become a family. And I think, to me, that's a real big strength of ours. And I think that really shows itself when things are getting difficult, and it's bound to get difficult at some point throughout the season. But if you're strong as a group and have that team chemistry, I think that's huge.
Talk about, guys, last question. Talk about who's the number one team that is out there that is the opponent, the team that you're going to have to beat to get over the top. Is it still Sioux North, or is it somebody else? Give me a little scouting report on the Norwassa and who I need to be concerned about. Darian, I'll let you start with you.
Personally, obviously Sioux North, right?
Sioux North, yeah.
Yeah, they beat us last year, obviously.
Michael, anybody else, or is that the scouting report? When I'm watching the Norwassa results, I need to be looking out for Sioux North.
I want to beat them, and Kenora TA Saints. I think they got a decent team this year, and I think they're going to be tough to beat too.
Okay. Nick, anything last? You can say whatever you want. You can add to that, or you can just say go Muskies or whatever. You go ahead and give your final word, or say hi to mom or whatever.
I think we're capable of holding our own, and most of our games are going to be hard-fought battles. But hopefully we'll come out victorious with most of them.
Jace?
I don't think there's much left to say. All the boys got it all down.
That's perfect. Guys, I appreciate you coming over and being part of this. I look forward to getting to cover you guys this year. We're going to have at least 4 of your guys' games on the air, so I'm looking forward to, hopefully we'll make a run in the playoff. Maybe you guys could bring me with when you guys make it to OFSA. You guys